exposed 145 million Americans' private information. Equifax announcing an additional 2.4 million people are impacted by last year's data breach.
As all 3 billion of its users were affected by a data breach in 2013, making it by far the largest breach in history.
We're talking 3 billion accounts. That's billion with a beef. Watching videos on YouTube is free. Using Gmail is free. Google Maps is free to use. Despite offering all these services for free, Google's market cap exceeds $2 trillion. We're surfing the web, steaming shows, shooting off emails. Want to order a pizza? Click. Need to pay your bills? Click. Got to book a doctor's appointment? You guessed it, click. In this video, we've divided our exploration into 6 captivating chapters. 1. The history of the internet. 2. Internet infrastructure. 3. Key players behind the scenes. 4. Government roles. 5. Internet security. 6. The future of the digital world. Have you ever wondered how the internet works and who controls this worldwide? You might think that internet provider companies like AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast control it, but this isn't true. If one company stops providing it, there are other companies available. You might then think maybe our government controls it, but that isn't true either. At most, the government can remove a few Facebook posts or block websites, but these can be easily bypassed and don't amount to controlling the internet worldwide. You wake up, and what's the first thing you do? Chances are, you're reaching for that smartphone to check your notifications. The internet's got you before you've even had your morning coffee. From the moment we open our eyes to the second we hit the hay, we're surfing the web, steaming shows, shooting off emails, and double tap into those Insta posts 24/7. But here's the kicker. It ain't just about our social lives anymore. The internet's got its tendrils in everything. Want to order a pizza? Click. Need to pay your bills? Click. Got to book a doctor's appointment? You guessed it, click. And let's not forget about how it's revolutionized the way we work. These days, you can be chilling in your PJs in small-town America while video conferencing with clients halfway across the globe. It's wild. Are we becoming digital wizards or just slaves to the screen? Stick around, because we're about to unpack this digital Pandora's box and see what makes the internet tick in our modern world. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your Wi-Fi router the same way again. It's the 1960s. The Beatles are on the radio, bell-bottoms are all the rage, and over in the good old US of A, our Department of Defense is cooking up something that'll change the world forever. They call it ARPANET, the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, the granddaddy of what we now know as the internet. Fast forward to the 1970s. While disco was taking over dance floors, computer geeks were busy inventing stuff like email. Yep, that's right, email's older than some of y'all watching this. But the real game changer? That came in 1989 when a British dude named Tim Berners-Lee said, hey, what if we made this thing called the World Wide Web? And boom, just like that, the internet as we know it was born. The 90s rolled around and suddenly everyone and their grandma wanted to surf the web. Remember that dial-up sound? That screeching, buzzing nightmare that'd wake up the whole house when you tried to get online at 2 a.m.? Ah, good times. Then came the dot-com boom. Suddenly having a www in front of your company name, and just when we thought it couldn't get any better, social media burst onto the scene. MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, suddenly we were all living our lives online, one status update at a time. Remember, Twitter is changed now by Elon Musk, from this to this, x.com. Sounds great, boy. Now here we are today, with the internet in our pockets and even on our wrists. One thing's for sure, the internet's history is far from over. We're living it, folks, and who knows, maybe someday people will look back at us and say, can you believe they only had 5G? So you're sitting there scrolling through TikTok and bam, a new video loads up faster than you can say viral dance challenge. But have you ever wondered how that data zooms from some creator's phone straight to yours? Well, strap on your scuba gear, because we're about to take a dive. First off, let's talk data. Every time you do anything online, send a text, watch a video, buy those shoes you definitely don't need, you're sending and receiving data. This data doesn't just float through the air like magic, but it travels through a massive network of cables, some on land, and get this, some under the sea. While you're lounging on the beach, there's a whole lot more going on under those waves than just fish and sunken treasure. We're talking about submarine communications cables, giant cables, some as thick as a garden hose stretching across entire oceans. These bad boys are laid down by special ships, kind of like underwater construction crews. They've got to deal with everything from shark bites, yeah, you heard that right, to underwater earthquakes. Now here's a mind bender for you. About 99% of all international data transfers happen through these undersea cables. So next time you're video chatting with your cousin in Australia, just remember, your high mate is probably taking a quick dip in the Pacific. But it's not all smooth sailing. These cables can get damaged by anchors, fishing trawlers, or even just wear and tear. When that happens, it's like a traffic jam on the information superhighway. Suddenly, your Netflix starts buffering, and you're wondering if you've time traveled back to the dial-up days. There are only about 559 of these submarine cable systems keeping the whole world connected. Sounds like a lot, but when you think about how much data we're pumping through them every second, it's pretty wild. It's time to meet the big players of the internet playground, the ISPs and tech giants. Buckle up, because this is where things get interesting. First up, we've got the ISPs, Internet Service Providers. Think of these guys as the gatekeepers to the internet. Now, ISPs are kind of like the pipes that bring water to your house, except instead of water, they're pumping pure, unfiltered internet straight into your living room. Without these guys, we'd all be staring at blank screens, wondering where the cat videos went. But here's where it gets spicy. These ISPs have got some serious power. They can control how fast your internet is, what you can access, and how much you're going to pay for it. It's like they're holding the keys to the digital kingdom. There are a lot of things to discuss here, but we'll crack it in another video. Now let's shift gears and talk about the tech giants. I'm talking about the big boys: Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple. These companies aren't just big, they're internet Godzillas. Take Google, for instance. This ain't just a search engine anymore. Born in a Stanford dorm room in 1998, Google has grown from a simple search engine to a digital behemoth that touches nearly every aspect of our online lives. Did you know that every day there are over 8.5 billion searches on Google? It's as if every person on Earth searches for something on Google at least once a day. This is no small feat. Even more amazing is that doing this is completely free. Not only is Google Search free, but almost every product by Google is free to use. Watching videos on YouTube is free. Using Gmail is free. Google Maps is free to use. Despite offering all these services for free, Google's market cap exceeds $2 trillion. Then there's Amazon. Started out selling books. Now it's the everything store. Plus, it's running half the internet behind the scenes with its Amazon Web Services. Talk about a glow-up. Facebook? It's not just where you go to see pics of your high school buddy's new baby. It's a social media empire. Owning Instagram and WhatsApp too. It's like the popular kid in school who somehow got even more popular after graduation. And let's not forget Apple. They might not run the internet, but they sure as heck control a big chunk of how we access it. Every time they drop a new iPhone, it's like the whole tech world holds its breath. I have already made video on Steve Jobs' vision. Do check out after this video. These tech giants have got so much power. They're basically shaping how we use the internet. They're the ones deciding what's cool, what's next, and sometimes what we see and don't see online. Is all this power in the hands of a few companies a good thing? Are these tech giants looking out for us little guys? Or are they just focused on their bottom line? One thing's for sure, whether it's ISPs controlling our access or tech giants shaping our online experience, these key players are the ones calling the shots in our digital world. And understanding their game, well, that's the first step to being a savvy internet citizen in this wild, wild web. Let's talk about ICANN. It's not some new fitness craze. It stands for the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Fancy name, right? But what these folks do is pretty crucial. Think of this as the Internet's phone book manager. They're the ones who make sure that when you type in www.mycoolwebsite.com, you end up where you're supposed to. Without this, the Internet would be like a city with no street names or house numbers. Total chaos. But here's where it gets interesting. ICANN isn't controlled by any one government. It's a nonprofit org based in California, but it's got a global mission. It's like the United Nations of the internet world, trying to keep things fair and balanced for everyone. Now let's zoom out a bit and talk about internet governance in general. Surprise, surprise, the internet isn't some lawless Wild West. There are actually a bunch of organizations and agreements that try to keep things running smoothly. Then there's the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF. These are the tech wizards who come up with the standards that make the internet work. Without them, your laptop might not be able to talk to your smartphone, and then where would we be? But here's where things get tricky. The internet's global, right? But every country's got its own laws and ideas about how the internet should work. Some countries want to keep it open and free, others, not so much. Take the European Union, for example. They've got this thing called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. It's all about protecting people's online privacy. Sounds great, but it's given some US companies major headaches trying to comply. And let's not even get started on China's Great Firewall. It's like they've got their own separate internet over there. The government blocks its citizens from accessing websites like Google, YouTube, and Facebook. These platforms, which most of us use daily without a second thought, are permanently banned. The reason? The Chinese government wants to control the narrative, to shape the thoughts and beliefs of its people. By blocking these sites, they can limit the flow of information and maintain their grip on power. The internet might feel like this wild, free space when you're scrolling through your feed, but behind the scenes, there's a whole lot of governance going on. And how all these players duke it out? Well, that's going to shape the future of our online lives. So next time you hear about some new internet law or international agreement, perk up those ears, because chances are it's going to affect your little corner of cyberspace before you know it.
Ouch.
Let's dive into 3 of the most jaw-dropping internet security breaches that had everyone talking. First up, let's talk about the Equifax breach of 2017. So what happened? Well, hackers managed to break into Equifax's system. We're talking names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and even some driver's license number. That's almost half the U.S. population. How'd they do it? Equifax had a vulnerability in their system that they knew about but didn't patch.
That exposed 145 million Americans' private information. Equifax announcing an additional 2.4 million people are impacted by last year's data breach. Consumers had their names and some of their driver's license information stolen.
The fallout? Equifax's reputation took a nosedive faster than a skydiver without a parachute. They ended up paying a settlement of up to $700 million. Now let's shift gears to another biggie, the Yahoo breach.
Well, Yahoo now says all 3 billion of its users were affected by a data breach in 2013, making it by far the largest breach in history.
This one's so big it happened twice. The 2013 attack affected every single Yahoo account that existed at the time. We're talking 3 billion accounts. That's billion with a B, folks. Names, email addresses, telephone numbers, dates of birth, hashed passwords, and even security questions and answers, all up for grabs. The 2014 breach was smaller, but still huge, affecting 500 million accounts. It's like saying, don't worry, only 500 million people's data was stolen this time. The real kicker? These breaches came to light when Yahoo was in talks to be sold to Verizon. Talk about bad timing. It's like trying to sell your car and then remembering, oh yeah, by the way, the engine's missing. The damage? Yahoo's sale price to Verizon dropped by $350 million, and they had to pay $35 million in fines for keeping investors in the dark. Now let's explore recent breaches of 2024. We've come to the mid of our internet odyssey. But before you click away to watch cat videos or whatever else the algorithm's going to throw at you, I've got a couple requests. Making these videos takes time, energy, and enough caffeine to fuel a small country. Your support helps keep this channel running. There's a link in the description where you can donate. Back to the topic. We're talking about the great outage of 2024, a day that'll go down in history as the moment our hyper-connected world came crashing down faster than you can say blue screen of death. It's July 18th, 2024. You wake up, grab your phone, and nothing. No tweets, no emails, no cute cat videos. But this ain't just your average forgot to pay the phone bill situation. Oh no, this is worldwide, folks. It all started with a tiny little software update. You know, one of those things you usually click, remind me later on for weeks? Yeah, that. But this wasn't just any update. This was from CrowdStrike. Suddenly, it's like someone hit the off switch on modern civilization. Airports, grounded, banks, frozen, hospitals, scrambling. If it ran on Windows or touched Microsoft's cloud services, it was lights out. For 24 long hours, it was like we time traveled back to the Stone Age, or at least the 1980s. This wasn't some super sophisticated cyber attack or an alien invasion. Nope, it was just a good old-fashioned human oopsie. One tiny bug and one little update, and the whole digital house of cards came tumbling down. When the systems finally came back online, you can bet there were some pretty awkward meetings happening in boardrooms across the globe. So next time your phone bugs you about an update, maybe don't hit remind me later for the 50th time. First off, let's talk about emerging trends. We're looking at a world where the line between online and offline is blurrier than your vision after a Netflix binge. We're talking Internet of Things on steroids, folks. Your fridge won't just tell you you're out of milk. It'll order it for you, have it delivered by drone, and probably judge your dietary choices while it's at it. And let's not forget AI. It's evolving faster than a Pokemon on rare candy. We might be looking at AI assistants so advanced, they'll be writing these scripts instead of me, right? Remember, the internet is a tool, not a life sentence. Yeah, we're connected 24/7, but that doesn't mean we have to be online every second. When was the last time you went a full day without checking your phone? Might be worth a try. Here's a little motivation for you. In the world of technology, the most important connection is the one to yourself. I just made that up. Feel free to quote me. Let's be real in today's world. Every day is Internet Day. We wake up to notifications, work online, relax with streaming, and fall asleep scrolling. It's like we're fish and the internet is our water. We don't even notice it anymore. Now, if you're interested in watching, please check out my recent video so you might enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comment area. Thanks. Bye-bye.